am going to be doing like an aqua blue eye look using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, mostly using the blue colors. Obviously there's going to be transition shades in this, and I plan on using my Airbrush Foundation today to show you how I use that and the results that I get from that. First things first, I always start with my eyes first. So I'm going to be using the Lancome Long Lasting Softening Concealer in the shade 110 Ivory, and I will be applying this to my eyes as my eye primer. I don't like eye primers, which I said the other day, because I find that they make it hard for the eyeshadow to blend. I don't like when it's sticky on my eye. This is also going to cover up any of the veins and discoloration in my eye, so to make it just a nice, smooth, seamless base. Alright, so once it's on, I'm going to just take my Morphe Cosmetic Sponge and blend that in. So now I'm going to take the Coty Airspun Loose Translucent Powder with a fluffy crease brush and set my eyelid. Once that is set, now we can start the eye look. So obviously I'm using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and let me say, this is a beautiful palette. It has amazing colors. They're very pigmented, easy to blend, just beautiful all around. The shimmers have nice payoff on them. So if you're looking for a palette that's not too expensive but gives you a lot of variety, I would definitely purchase this palette. I've created several makeup looks using this palette, and the size of the pans are very nice, so you're not gonna run out of it fast. I haven't hit bottom with any of these shades yet, so this is an amazing palette. I would definitely recommend. So first things first, I'm gonna go in with my transition shade, and that is Silk Cream, and that is this one right here. The nice thing about this palette is all the names and the colors are on the back of it. So if you do get it, then you could just reference to that. So I'm gonna take the fluffy crease brush I have and apply Silk Cream in my crease. I like always going in with light shades first, because what this is going to do, it's going to give a nice base to be able to blend the deeper shades, and it's going to be a nice transition. So we're trying to make a gradient effect to blend everything. And I'm actually going to go in with the shade right next to it, and that is MFEO, right? MFEO, sorry. This one right here. With the same brush. This is a little deeper. I'm going to focus it right where I put the last color. So as you can see, that these colors are very light. But they're nicely blendable and buildable. They're easy to build and blend. I make up my own words sometimes. My husband can attest to that. Alright, that's good. Now I want to go in with this shade right here, and it's called Butter. Slightly deeper shade. I'm going to go in with the same crease brush. I'm not going to really try to blend this shade up too much. I'm just going to put it mostly in my crease. And one thing I love about this palette is it goes from super natural. You can go for like a really nice day look, and then a really nice date night look, nice and dark and sultry, and then nice, natural, and light. So, I mean, this palette, one of my favorite palettes. My other favorite palette is the Anastasia palette, Modern Renaissance. So, hopefully I'll do a look with that palette soon. I've had it for years, but hopefully I could get back on and do a look using that palette. And today the goal is to put eyeliner and lashes on. So that is my goal today. Now I'm going to take this smaller, like medium dome crease brush. And I'm going to go in with, the shade next, actually the shade right here. And this is Pookie. Focus this in the crease, a little more concentrated, right where the eye folds. Now I'm going to go in with the shade, what is this one? Pooter. If you could see that. Pooter with the same crease brush. These browns are slowly and very lightly deepening. Alright, so I'm liking the way that's looking, so I'm going to take the same bigger fluffy crease brush that I originally used, and right now I'm just going to blend out some of these, blend out the edges, just to kind of see where I'm at. And now we're really going to start deepening the crease up. I'm actually going to take this brown shade right here, that is Mocha, with a smaller, more defined crease brush. This one's more concentrated, like has a point towards the end. And I'm going to take Mocha, and I'm going to really go right on the crease and a little bit towards the edge of my eye. And whatever is left, just kind of blend up. This one right here, it is Chip. I'm going to go in with that same brush I was just with. This is slightly deeper than the other one, but also has a little bit of red in it. Now, we're going to start with the blue. To find my brush. I'm going to take this small crease brush. It's very concentrated. I'm going to go on with this shade Jada, this shade right here. And what this is going to do, this is going to start the gradient effect, the blend of the blue or teal. So this is just going right in the eye socket. We just want to work slowly with this one. We're going to keep intensifying that color. Go back in on this side. I'm going to take the big fluffy crease brush and just blend that edge just a smidge. Going with the medium brush again. And dip into the shade Butter. Focus right along the top of the blue. Now I'm going to go back in with a very small domed brush and build up the shade Jada, the blue shade. And I will be using my Airbrush Foundation today too, so I'll show you how to do that as well. I just like to do my eyes first, just in case there's any fallout. It doesn't get on my base. Now I'm going to take the shade, I'm going to go on with this shimmery shade. It is Twerk, the deeper blue, and I'm going to focus this mostly towards the outside of my eye. I like applying shimmers with my finger because I feel like that's how I get good payoff. Just gonna take this. Okay, now that I have the darker blue on the outer edge of my eye, I'm gonna wipe off my fingers the best I can. And I'm gonna go, I believe the shade is called Pool Party, this one right here. And mostly in the inner to middle of my eye. Look how pigmented that shade is. It's like so pretty. It's being a little difficult to get towards the inner duct, so I'm gonna take a very thin lip brush, pack the color on, and just press that in. And I'm gonna go back in with the dark blue as well. What is the shade called? I think it's called Twerk. It's this one right here. And I'm going to focus this obviously where that original color was. Just intensifying it. One thing I always like when I do my eyes, I always like the lids to be more like a bright pop, a shimmer. I just feel like it helps bring out the color of my eyes better. Alright, now one more time I'm going with Pool Party. And just make sure that the tealy color and the blue is blended nicely. And then just where they meet, I'm just going to lightly dab the shade Pool Party on them to make a nice gradient effect. Alright, I'm liking the way that the eyes are looking so far. Obviously they're not done. They still have to be blended because nobody wants harsh lines in their eyes. So the original big fluffy crease brush, I'm going to focus this right where the shades start going up to the brow bone. Just making sure that's not harsh. And if you feel like it's not blending or it's giving you a little bit of trouble, go back in with the medium crease brush and with some of the transition shade. So I'm gonna go in with this shade, which is called Butter. I'll use that on the crease. And just focus that right where it's being harsh. And that will help you blend it. You can go windshield wiper motions back and forth or circular motions to help blend it. As you can see, that eye's a little more blended than the other eye. I'm gonna go back in with the shade Jada just a little bit because I feel like the crease is kind of disappearing with the dome brush, and just lightly go over it, not taking away any of the lid colors. Now I'm going to take this stubby flat brush, if this will stay, this brush right here, and I'm going to actually mix the two shades. I'm going to mix the two shades in Light and Beam, and I'm going to put this on my brow. I don't like that it's shimmery. I would prefer more of like a matte white or matte cream shade, but this is what the palette has, so I can work with it. Make do with what you got, right? Alright, so that does it, kind of just cleans everything up, and then you just go back with your fluffy crease brush and blend. Now I'm going to do eyeliner, which I've never done eyeliner on camera because it's very hard for me to do to begin with, and then making sure it stays focused in camera is a whole nother story. I will say my favorite eyeliner is the Inglot eyeliner gel in the shade 77. It's black and waterproof. I really like that about it. So I'm going to take this bigger angled crease brush. Alright, let's see if I could do this. Once again, this is the Inglot Duraline eyeliner in the shade Black. It looks like that. One thing I like about this liner, it's very creamy, waterproof. Alright, now I'm going to do the wing. Alright, that eye's done. Alright, now so I have the wings done and I have it connected. Now I just want to make the line where my eye is a little thicker, but I do have smaller eyes, so I don't want to make it too thick to the point where, like, I'm not going to see the work I did with the eyeshadow. So, alright, I'm actually going to go in with a smaller eyeliner brush now, so I can get really close to the lash line. This brush gives me a little more control over what I'm doing. Alright, well, I'm liking the way that eyeliner is looking. I'm always very hard on myself when I do eyeliner because I'm like, it's gotta be perfect, but in reality, they're not gonna be perfect because it's on two separate sides of your face. As long as it's as close as possible to being symmetrical, that's all that matters. Alright. I am just cleaning up what fell out on my face. And now we get started on the base. So first things first, the primer I'm using today for smoothing my face out is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. I put this only on my forehead where I have wrinkles, like what are they called? Frown lines or something? I don't know. Forehead lines. So I just put this on. This is like a clay-based product, kinda. What this is going to do is fill in the pores and make them non-existent, so your wrinkles or anything like that will not be as noticeable. Now I'm gonna prime my face with the NYX Studio Perfect Photo Long-Lasting Primer. It's a silicone-based primer. It's pretty much the same thing as a Smashbox primer, is just more affordable. So I'm going to put like a pea size of that on my hands and apply this all over my face. So now I'm not going to color correct my whole face. I'm only going to color correct where there's a couple areas that need correcting. So I did mention this yesterday in my video. I always like to refresh it in case someone new is joining. If you go back to the color wheel, like when we were in school, to color correct, you want to go with the color that's opposite on the color wheel. So I have redness on my skin, and the opposite of red is green. So I'm going to apply this green concealer. It's the Lancome Tinted Idol Ultra Wear High Coverage Corrector, just in the areas where I need correction, where some of the redness needs to be toned down. So definitely a little bit right here. See, right here, definitely right there, and a little around the nose. I'm just gonna rub it in. So I'm just correcting the redness in my skin. And then I'm gonna use the Airbrush Foundation next. And when you use the green concealer, you don't want your face to look green, obviously, because that's not what we're going for. We're just going for something to neutralize the redness in the skin. So the Airbrush Foundation I use is called Temp 2. It's a professional makeup. It's professional makeup. I believe everyone can buy it though. Makeup artists use this for weddings. When I got my makeup done for my wedding, the makeup artist used this foundation, the Temp 2. It is amazing. It is long lasting, waterproof. Looks awesome to photograph. It looks like your skin is flawless. I would 100% recommend Airbrush Foundation. My husband, when we go out on dates and I do my makeup, he asks me, can you put on the Airbrush Foundation? I like the way that looks. So the shades I am using is shade 3 Buff and shade 2 Ivory. You have to mix these up before you use them, and the airbrush machine I'm using is the Luminous, I think. It's just a little airbrush machine. I think, gosh, my mom and I were watching an infomercial years ago, and it came on like QVC or something, and Mom was like, oh, let's get it, and the foundation it came with sucked. It was not good. And then I found out about Temp 2, and I'm like, let's use that foundation, and I love it. So I do equal drops of each of these foundations in the little wand or gun. So I'm just taking the tops off of these now. I'm gonna do about 3 drops of each to start with. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do 4. Do one more of the other one. So obviously these are 2 different foundations that I'm using, so you're gonna have to mix them, and to do that you have to back bubble the machine. So this machine has 3 different settings on it. It has low, medium, high. I like to go on medium, so you'll be able to hear it. That's the first one, second one, third one. So I go on the second one, and to mix the foundations, you put your finger over the hole and you pull back on the trigger just a little bit to be able to mix the foundations. Now with airbrush, you want to go very lightly. You don't want to pull the trigger too much when you're applying it, and you want to constantly keep the gun moving and a good distance away from your face. You're just going to lightly build up the foundation, and I am going to take my earrings out because I don't really want foundation all over them. Make sure you get your neck and chin. Alright, I'm going to stop that for just a minute. I'm going to apply some concealer. So I'm going to take the same concealer I used earlier from Lancome, the shade Ivory, and apply it under my nose, under my eyes. And take just a brush, apply it under my eyes, pulling that out a little bit. Any like on blemishes, on my nose where there's redness, my chin a little bit, and up on my forehead. And I'm going to make sure if the eyeliner needs to be cleaned up at all, I'm going to clean it up now. Now I'm going to go back in with the Airbrush Foundation. I'm going to put a couple more drops of foundation in, equal parts of each. I'm going to back bubble to mix the 2 foundations together and do my foundation out. You constantly, like I said, want to keep the brush or the gun moving. And if there's an area on your face that needs a little more coverage, just lightly go focus the gun in that area a little more. One thing I like about the Airbrush Foundation too is that it matches your skin really good. I mean, you can't really tell. It just looks like your skin, you know? It doesn't look like you're wearing a mask or anything like that. I'm done with the foundation. And I already put concealer on. I like to do the concealer before I do the airbrush because I've actually done it the opposite way, and I found that the concealer will pick up the foundation and it leaves it patchy. So I found that if you put the concealer on first, then the foundation over it, it works better. I'm just going to take the Coty Airspun and lightly set under my eyes. And nice thing about Airbrush Foundation is majority of it will dry on its own fairly quick. So you don't really have to set it. What I recommend is just setting where the T-zone is. So chin, forehead, under eyes, nose. Alright, so that part is done. Now it's time to actually give my face some shape. So I'm going to contour, bronze, whatever it is. I'm going to use the NARS bronzer in the shade Laguna and a domed concentrated brush. So first I'm going to start with where my cheekbones are. Now I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to be using the Milani Baked Highlighter in the shade Champagne Dior. I'm going to be using a fan brush. I'm going to be putting the highlighter on the high points of my face, so my cheekbones. This highlighter is so pretty. So now what I want to do is I'm going to bake my contour. So now I'm going to take my Morphe sponge and carve out my cheekbones. Just like this. I'm going to let it bake. And this is going to clean up any mistakes, and it's also going to blend out the harshness. And I like to do a little bit on my smile line. So, I've never done putting eyelashes on camera either, so this is going to be interesting. But first things first, I'm going to do my eyebrows first, but I always like getting my eyelash glue out so it's a little bit tacky. So this is the Duo Strip Lash Adhesive. So I'm just going to put some on the top of this container. And I'll fill in my eyebrows. I don't do anything like crazy. I don't carve them out. I just fill them in. I just find if I carve them out with concealer and all that, it does not look natural on me, and I like natural as I'm wearing a blue eye, but I don't like my brows to be too sculpted. So the pomade I'm using is the Lancome Gel in the shade Brune. And I'm using an angled brow brush and a spoolie, and I'm just going to lightly fill them in. Now, we're going to do the lashes, and these are the Ardell Black in the shade in number 113. So I'm going to take them out. And obviously these are going to be too big for my eyes, so I am going to have to trim them down a little bit. And I'm just going to take a pair of like eyebrow scissors. This one goes on my right eye. I always like to cut the first 3 off. So the first, I don't even know if you guys could see this. The first one and then the second one. So now that my lash glue has had some time to kind of like get tacky, I'm just going to take the back of a makeup brush, dip it in the glue, and put it on the band. Good amount of glue. You want to make sure that your lashes are not going to fall off. I actually just recently learned how to put lashes on. You know, quarantine has helped me learn a lot. Because before I was too nervous to do them, and now I feel more comfortable doing them. Okay. They're definitely not easy to put on. They're still hard to put on, but practice makes perfect. I will say this, don't ever try to put them on when you got somewhere to go. You don't have enough time to mess with them. Because I've done that and I've learned my lesson. Alright, so that one's on. Alright. While that's drying, I'm going to finish up the lower lash line so it blends a little better. And I am going to be taking the short stubby brush and taking just some of the transition shades we use. And I think I'm going to take this one, Buns, and what is this one? Mocha. Gonna mix the two of them together. Focus it right on the lower lash line. Now I'm going to take this, gosh, I hate when I do that part of my eyes because of my contacts. Take this flat eye brush. I'm gonna take this flat brush and I'm gonna take the shade Jada and focus that right where my lash line is. So now that I have the bottom lash line done, I'm going to blend it a little bit. My eyes are watering. Alright, so now I'm going to blend the contour, blush, and highlight. I'm going to take the brush I use to set my under eyes and just blend it out now. And if you ever feel like it's not blending as much as you want it to, go ahead and take a little bit of the translucent powder and just focus it back where you want it to help blend. Alright, now I'm going to apply some mascara, and the mascara I'm using is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise in black. And I'm just going to kind of blend my lashes and the false lashes together, so I'm just tapping on them. I'm going to take my black eyeliner. It is the Urban Decay 24-Hour Glide On Eye Pencil. I'm actually going to tight line under my eyes right here to cover that up. Just makes the skin part of your eye less noticeable, and it literally takes like 2 seconds. And I'm also going to, because I feel like I could still see the lash band and the lash glue, so I'm going to take a black shadow. I think that one's brown. Let me grab my black shadow. I'm going to take a black shadow and put it across the lash band, and this is, I'm using the Urban Decay Smoked in the shade Blackout. This is the palette. I really only use this palette for the black shade, and I'm just gonna dab right along the lash band like that, and then I'm gonna finish applying the mascara. Gonna apply it to my lower lash line. Now I'm going to line my lips with, where the heck did it go? With the Italiana Deluxe 24 Hours Tattoo Gel Lip Liner. This is the best lip liner. I talked about it the other day. It was used on me for my wedding. It lasted all day, didn't come off. I didn't have to reapply it or retouch. I would definitely recommend it, and it's inexpensive. And it lasts all day, waterproof, perfect for brides if you need an eyeliner or lip liner for your wedding day. Amazing. You could get it on their website, and I think it's like between $3 and $4, and it lasts a long time. I haven't gone through one yet, so I'm just gonna line my lips. This is in the shade Natural Belle, and I just want something neutral because my eyes are more bold, so I don't want my lips and my eyes competing against each other. Now I'm going to be using this lip gloss. It's called Black Radiance, and it doesn't have a shade to it, unless the shade is 9J01. I'm not sure. I'm gonna just apply this to my lips. And there you have it. That is the full look. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. And if you have any questions, let me know. My Instagram is All Things Beauty by Miss Clark, the same as my Twitch account. And if you want to see my hair page, it's Sam the Barber _ for each word. So if you have, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Bye.